Here is a first look at N4V Intelligence for SAP Business Objects, coming in September 2025 from Need4Viz. For those of you who may not be aware of our feature set, I wanted to quickly review the Need4Viz solution for SAP Business Objects Web Intelligence. N4V Widgets integrates new data visualization components and navigation features, enabling advanced dashboarding in Web Intelligence. N4V Maps integrates beautiful and interactive offline and online maps, as well as custom plans directly into Web Intelligence. N4V Analysis is a collection of powerful number crunching tables, including our premium data analyzer. These bring interactive Excel-like capabilities into Web Intelligence, including customizable pivot tables and formulas to please your organization's most demanding data analysts. N4V Publisher is designed for distributing and updating information outside of the Business Objects platform. And in this video, we'd like to unveil our latest offering, N4V Intelligence, AI for SAP Business Objects. Okay, so I'm going to begin today by logging into the BI Launchpad and launching Web Intelligence from the application tile. Now, our primary interaction with Web Intelligence is not going to be through the UI. So I'm going to skip the data source here and just say no data source and OK. I could have also hit cancel. And I'm going to open up the main panel. This is BI 4.3. And across the top of the main panel, you'll see all the familiar icons. And when N4V Intelligence is installed, there's a new one at the end for main panel extensions. And so that's where we'll find the extension for the natural language query as well as the chart recommender. Now, the first thing that I see here is the universes that have been trained for AI. And so I've got 3 of them here, and I'm going to choose the Olympics. And when you choose a universe, you're going to see a brief synopsis of it, and you even get some example questions that you can ask. So let's see what kind of universe we're working with here. I'm going to ask N4V Intelligence to show me all of the geography objects in the universe. And so it's going to use its understanding of natural language to look at the object names and determine which ones are about geography. All right, so we see here that we have 8 different objects about geography. So everything from the country and country codes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and instantiate that query and show you the data. I can also ask other questions of the universe, like show me the major objects. And we'll see that the Olympics universe has 7 measures. Okay, and these are aligned around medal counts, either total medal count or by medal type, bronze, silver, gold. And also the total number of medals, I can have those broken down by male and female. And now let's get into the Olympic data. So the first question I want to ask is how many medals did Katie Ledecky win at the Paris Olympics? So if you'll recall, the Paris Olympics were held last year, the Olympic Games. And so N4V Intelligence is thinking about how to put together the question that I asked. And we'll see that there's a gray panel and a blue panel. I'm going to show you these a little bit close up a little bit later, but it shows that my query has been understood. And it's got a filter for not only the 2024 Paris Olympics, but also Katie Ledecky. And so here are her results, 1 bronze medal and 1 gold medal. And I'm going to go ahead and move that to the top of the screen. Now, N4V Intelligence is conversational, just like you would expect a chatbot to be. So I'm just going to simply say, well, what about Simone Biles? So N4V Intelligence understands that I'm continuing the discussion that we had previously, so I don't need to completely restate the question that I had for Katie Ledecky for Simone Biles. It is basically taking the same query and changing the athlete filter, which is what I was hoping it would do. Okay. So I'm going to get a very similar table, and I'm just going to double click on it and drag it up next to Katie Ledecky. And of course, in BI 4.3, we have those wonderful new alignment features, so I can just snap the two tables to the top of each other. Okay, I'm ready to ask a slightly different question. So I want it to list the number of medals by athletes from the United States, and also asking about the Paris Games because we do have other Olympic scores in our database. Now you might notice that sometimes there's a short amount of thought taken, sometimes longer. And what this means for a user practically is while they're waiting for an answer, maybe they can turn their attention to a second monitor and crank out some emails or do something else while the engine is thinking. Okay, so this isn't a bad query. It'd be an even better query if I knew which sport and what medal type these athletes earned. I'm not familiar with all the names. So again, it's conversational. So I don't need to restate a new request. I can just say, hey, could you include the sport and the description of the type of medal? So it's going to add that in addition to, as we'll see here in a moment. All right. So there we go. Um, that looks good. It's got the additional objects that I've asked for, so I'm going to go ahead and click the button to generate the query. And so it's going to put those results in a new query and a new table. And so I'm going to move the old table off to the side here. Okay, I'm just going to double click and drag it away. And just to compare the two results, you can see that the table on the left now has the two extra columns that I asked for, the sport and the medal type. Okay, so I'll just get rid of the previous table. That looks pretty good. And I'm just going to look down through my data, and I noticed something interesting down towards the end. So this is the data for the United States. So if I go down to the U's in the athletics column, I can see that in the down when I get to the U's that the United States is also an athlete in addition to being a country. So why is that? So those are team sports where the athletes are not individually identified, and that's great, but that's not really what I want to see. You'll also notice that I have two United States. There's the regular United States, and then I've got one line of some reason for United States 1. So I'm going to ask it to exclude any athletes whose name contains United States. And I'm hoping based on how I asked the question, using the word contains, that it is going to write the query in such a way that it gets rid of both the United States and United States ones. So let's see what happens. Okay, so I'm just going to put the two tables next to each other. Okay, that looks good. And if you look in the blue box, notice that it says athlete not like United States. And it wrapped United States with parentheses. So I'm sorry, the percent sign. And so those are the wildcard operators in SQL. And again, I don't need to understand SQL to use N4V Intelligence, but what that means is it's going to look for the pattern of United States. And so if I look here, My old table on the left has the United States in it, but the new table on the right not only does not contain United States, but that's also removed United States 1 because it also matched the pattern. Okay, so that's how I can ask N4V Intelligence to filter data. I can also ask it to prompt me so I can choose what I want to look at. And so I'm going to use the word filter. And again, it's conversational, so I'm not restating the exact same query with new information. I'm just adding new information, saying now that I want to filter by one or several countries. And I'm crossing my fingers here. I'm hoping that I can choose one or more countries. And so let's see if how it's going to generate the query filter. Okay, so if I looked in the prompt in the blue box, it says that it is going to use enlist. Okay, so that's encouraging. Now, the yellow warning box when I generate the query, that's just reminding me, hey, you've asked for input, and so you're going to need to provide it. And so when we generate the query, notice that the table is generated, but it's empty. And that's because it's waiting for me to answer the prompt. So to do that, I'm going to double click on the table to select it. And then I do need to go up to the Web Intelligence toolbar and hit the refresh button. So I'm going to look for the North American countries, so United States, Canada, and Mexico. And notice that I have checkboxes. So this means that I can pick, just as I asked, one or more countries. If it misinterpreted me and gave me radio buttons, that would have only let me pick a single country. All right, so you can tell looking at the country column that I've got United States, Canada, and Mexico. So not only can I ask N4V Intelligence how to filter the data, I can ask it for what ultimately allows me to filter the data by choosing to answer a prompt. Okay, so I'm just going to rearrange it there so you can see country in first place. Now, the next thing I'd like to do is show you the chart recommender. And so it is also in the main panel. But first, I'm going to remove some columns from my results. And this is the properties panel in BI 4.3. I could have, instead of using it, also right clicked and deleted the columns and rearranged the columns on the table itself. Okay, now, the way the visualization recommendation works is I need to select the table. So I've double clicked on my table with country, sport, athlete, and medal. And you can see that the different chart types are scored. And so I'm going to go with the first selection, the drill bar, and I'm going to add it, not replace. So that's going to put a drill bar that I can move next to the table if I want to see both. Okay, that looks great. Now I can go to custom element interactions on the main toolbar, and that's going to allow me to interact with the objects. So the drill bar is not just a pretty face, it is a drillable component. And so I can drill down through the hierarchy that I've created from country to sport to athlete to medal. And I can drill back up and drill back down and choose another drill path. Now, of course, there are other options that I can set on the drill bar, but this is pretty good for not being familiar with web intelligence. Now let's take a closer look at what's going on here. So this is what is going on in the chat panel. Just thought I'd blow it up for you so you could see. So this is what happened when I asked the question, how many types of medals did Katie Ledecky win at the Paris Olympics? And so N4V Intelligence thinks about the question. And so you can see it's responding to me in natural English, but then it's also giving me a summary of not only the objects that it's going to use, but their IDs. That's kind of technical information that's probably more of interest to a developer or a universe designer, but it is there nonetheless. And then it's going to take that query and check it for consistency. So we've got 4 objects and 2 filters, one for the Paris Olympics and the other for Katie Ledecky. And then if we're all in agreement, this is my opportunity to just make sure that N4V Intelligence and I are on the same page. If not, I could, refine what I'm asking it. But if that looks good, and it does, then I just simply click the Generate Query button. And the rest is history. Now, what's great about our implementation is N4V Intelligence is actually creating web intelligence data providers. It's putting the results into Web Intelligence tables. So we are using the fundamental building blocks of Web Intelligence, even though a user may not be really aware that that's happening. And really, the benefit to your organization is at any point in time, whether this user is a novice user or if they're an expert user, they're going to be able to hand off this document, and perhaps a more expert user might want to change some of the data providers directly, or make some other changes, and the full feature of set of web intelligence is available for the person that wants to dive in deeply. Okay, so this has been a first look at N4V Intelligence and the 2 modules that it will come with in September 2025, the natural language query and the chart recommendation engine. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and we encourage you to visit our homepage at need4viz.com, where you can see a fully interactive demonstration of our complete offering. And if you've enjoyed this video, please take a moment to share it with your coworkers, key stakeholders, and executive sponsors. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any updates. You can also follow Need4Viz on LinkedIn and X.